Hey guys, so welcome to this week's video. I want to give some ideas for games at the end of the year. So usually during the end of each semester, after we finish the textbook, there's about 2 to 3 weeks of, fun. Personally, in my experiences, the kids don't really want to listen to culture. Yes, culture is entertaining, but they prefer to play games. So I'm going to give you about 4 different game ideas that are fun for your students and that my students personally really enjoy. Game number 1 is Roundup. So I was personally inspired by an arcade game where each round that you win, you play another round and you get more points. So I kind of wanted to make a game like that where we just do short mini games and then we just keep adding on points depending on how they do in each round. So let's start. So for Roundup, you can pick various different games for each round, but for my first one, I did it like this. So my first round is words and words, where you get the one long word, and then using the letters in those words, they make as many different words as possible. And if another team writes the same word, so for example, let's say the word is everything, if one team writes give and the other team writes give, then they have to erase. And whatever original answers are left are their points. Usually I like to do this twice so they can try to get as many points as possible. So for round 2, for this roundup, I decided to do mini categories. So basically, instead of having 12 categories, they have 6 and half of the time. If both teams write the same answer, then it has to be erased. Round 3, what's the song? What's the song is their most favorite roundup game. So usually for what's the song, I take 4 famous pop songs and mix them together. And then they have to write down what the name of the song is and who's the singer. Usually for the name of the song, it has to be close. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it's really fun and it really practices their English listening skills. For round 4, I do English riddles where points can be up to 5, 7, and 10, but some of my students don't like that, so you could do 5, 7, or 10, or you can do 1, 3, and 5. That helps other teams that didn't do well in the last rounds catch up. So that's game number 1. Game number 2. This is the most easiest game. Kids really enjoy it, and it takes the whole 40 to 45 minutes. Categories. So basically here, you just give them a list and a letter, and I usually give them about 7 minutes for 12 categories. Like I said, if they write down the same answer, then they have to erase, and then after, they add up their points. Usually you do 3 rounds, and that's enough to cover a whole class. Honestly, it's really easy. The hardest part is just making the categories and picking a letter. Usually I like to test all mine and make sure there's at least 4 possible answers and that are easy enough for the kids to write down. So categories is really easy and it's a good time killer. Game number 3. The Price is Right. So my friend let me borrow this when I taught my kids how to count money, but my kids really like this, even if I'm not teaching them to count money, and it's a great way to practice numbers, because when we go to the 100,000s, a million, those are really hard for them. Because in Korea, the lowest, our American $1 is about 1,000, maybe 200 won. So they have to usually count higher in English for the won. So usually I show them a product and then I ask how much is this? So usually I divide them into teams. They have to rotate who will present the answer. And when they present the answer, they have to say it perfectly. So let's say if they say 10,000, no, not 10,000, 1,000, no, they said 10,000, so they need to write it. And they usually love guessing the price of the answers and they get all riled up. It's really fun. Whoever is the closest to the answer gets the point, not over. Game number 4. Our next game is Seen It. So basically Seen It is like a sneaky review game where if we learn about 8 different key expressions and some things from culture expressions, I will find a video using that material. So for example, in my first year's book, we learn what are you good at or what is he good at. So I'll find a video clip from a Pixar movie or Disney movie saying I'm good at cooking or I'm good at blah, blah, blah. And usually I find key phrases that they learn or concepts that they learn and find a video clip and ask a question. So for example, in my lessons, I played this video from Wizards of Waverly Place and I asked the question, how is he feeling? And then they have to write in a complete sentence, he is hangry. We learn hangry in texting, so my students should get this answer correctly. This is really fun because they like to watch the video clips, and usually I do this as a team. In our last game, the Batman game. They love the Batman game. So basically, the Batman game has all the letters of the alphabet. Each letter has its own question. If you get the question right, it's a possibility where you can get 1 to 5 points, or mystery boxes. Mystery boxes, you can switch points, lose points, destroy points. My kids love destroy all points. Every time there's a mystery box, they go, destroy all points, destroy all points. It's a great review game, and it's pretty easy because you can just use questions and concepts that you did from the year. And it usually takes the whole 40 to 45 minutes. Well, these are all the games that usually I do for the end of the semester. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it gives you some ideas if you need a game for the end of the semester. Anyway, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.